Hey y'all, this is Jeannie with Made on 62. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. We're going to get started with our first project. We're going to use some air dry clay from Walmart. Make sure that you get the air dry clay. I forgot what brand it is I use, but it is the air dry clay. Next, we're going to use a silicone mold from the Dollar Tree. And then we're just going to take our air dry clay and we're just going to roll this out. Air dry clay works so much better. You don't have to bake or anything, so it just works a whole lot better. Plus, you can also take a little bit of water and mold it kind of how you want to with your finger. So we're just going to roll this out real good. We're going to flip it over. We're going to roll both sides of it and just get it pretty good and flat. Next, we're going to take the air dry clay. We're going to stick it down into our mold. And then you want to just kind of get it centered, push it down in there the best you can, and just push down so that you want to get the imprint of the face of the Easter Bunny. Next, we're just going to go around. We're going to cut this out. So you just want to cut your air dry clay around the mold, and then just lift that out of your mold. And then we're going to go around and we're going to cut any excess off. I did go back after this video and I also just kind of shaped out around the ears and the face just to make the mold a little bit smaller. And then we're going to shape it around our vase. So I did go back and just cut it a little bit smaller and just kind of shape the Easter Bunny's head. Next, we're going to take this vase from the Dollar Tree and we're going to lay this over the vase and we're going to let it set overnight so that it will dry and form around the vase. And then we're just going to kind of push down the edges so that when it does dry, it will shape around the vase. And you can also use a little bit of water on this too in your finger and then just push that down really good. And once you lift this up after it's dried overnight, it will have that form around the vase, that same form. So I'm just continuing to push this down so that it shapes around my vase. You can also get these vases at the Dollar General also. If you can't find one at the Dollar Tree, you can get one at the Dollar General too. Alright, once that is done, I'm just going to leave that overnight and let it form. That's where I cut it out a little bit more just to shape the face of the bunny and the ears. And then we'll let it sit overnight. Then we're going to take that off once it's set overnight. And as you can see, it's shaped around the vase. And then I just took some paint and a small paintbrush and just painted the ears and the eyes. And of course, when you push that air dry clay down in there, it gives you that form so that it's really easy to paint. Well, you have the indentions of the Easter Bunny face. So I just took some small paint brushes and just painted a little pink and black on the cheeks, the nose, the ears, and the eyes. Next, we're going to take our vase, and I just used white acrylic paint, apple barrel acrylic paint, and I gave it 2 coats of paint and then let that dry. And next I'm going to take this Waverly chalk paint and it's called Celery. And I'm going to take a small round paint dabber. I'm going to put a little paint on it, and then I'm just going to give this vase a little bit of polka dots just to kind of add a little bit to this. You want to get off your excess paint. And then we're just going to put this on and make some little polka dots. I started out making just a few polka dots, and then I realized that I like the look of just a little bit more, so I did go back in and put a little bit more of the polka dots, because as you know, I do love polka dots. My paint dauber wasn't real good and round, so it was a little bit hard to get the polka dots. So when you get one, make sure that it's real good and round. I guess it sat in the package too long and had a little kind of indentation on it, so it was a little bit hard. So there's our polka dots on our base. Now we're going to take that mold and we are going to just put some hot glue on it. You can also use E6000, some super glue, whichever you prefer. And then we're just going to put this on the base. And just hold it there for a minute. You want to make sure it adheres really good. Alright, and there is our cute little vase. I'm just going to add some flowers to this that I got from Hobby Lobby. Of course, you can get spring flowers anywhere, but I think this makes such a cute little centerpiece, or you could put it on your mantle. It's just turned out to be such a cute little piece. Next, we're going to take these molds from the Dollar Tree. These are little Easter bunny heads. And then we're going to take the little bunny butts. Both of these molds came from the Dollar Tree. And then plaster of Paris. You can get this at Lowe's or Home Depot. Now we're going to use 2 parts plaster of Paris, 1 part water. And just mix that up really, really good to get a pretty good thick consistency. You don't want it to run, but you want a pretty good little consistency. Now we're just going to take this and we're going to pour this plaster of Paris into our molds. And you don't have to use each mold. And so we just continue to pour this down into our mold. And of course you want it to just go to the top of the mold. And I'm just going to take my the back of my fork, and then I'm just going to kind of flatten out that the back of that mold, where that mold will be. And then once you do that, then you want to take and you want to just kind of tap or move around your mold the best you can. Just kind of tap it. You can even tap it on the sides, and this will get any air bubbles out that it may create when using your plaster of Paris, and it will just get any air bubbles to come to the surface, so you won't have air bubbles once they dry. Then you're going to let those dry overnight. 24 hours is best, but you can let them dry overnight. And we're just going to pop those out. And then you have your little bunny butt. And then you have your little Easter bunny heads. And then if you have any excess on the edges, you can just pick that off. It comes right off. Next, we're going to take some nutmeg apple barrel paint, and we are going to just paint these up. We're going to make them look like little chocolate candies. It's super easy. They're super easy to paint too. It goes on really well. And then of course you want this to dry It usually takes about an hour or so. Then we're going to take these little baking cups from the Dollar Tree. I added a little bit of grass, or actually shreds, paper shreds. You could also use the little grass put down in there, and then you have your little chocolate candy. And here is my display. Next, we're going to take a vase from the Dollar Tree or the Dollar General. And then we're going to take a smaller one. This one is from the Dollar General, the smaller one. And then you will place your smaller one down in the bigger one. We also have these flyers from the Dollar Tree. Of course, you can get them from anywhere also. And then we have these little jelly beans from the Dollar General. So you're going to take your smaller vase, place it inside your bigger vase, and you don't really have to glue. It's not really necessary. And then I'm just going to take my jelly beans, and I'm just going to pour these around in between the two layers. So in between the big one and the small one. And then just take your flowers, stick down in the center vase. You've got such a cute little centerpiece. So inexpensive and so easy to make. And our last project is this little plastic jar from the Dollar Tree. And I filled it with jelly beans. And then we're going to use these beads. These beads are from the Dollar General, and it has multiple bead sizes in it, which is what I like. The biggest one was 25 millimeters, which is what I'm going to use on the bottom part of what I'm going to make. Then we're going to take 2 felt pieces and just cut those into little bunny ears. So as you can see, the bigger bead there is a 25 millimeter. Now I'm going to take my 2 little felt pieces, put a little bit of glue on those just to kind of glue the bottom parts together so that you are forming your little bunny ears. Next, I'm going to take those bunny ears and I'm just going to put the very tip of the bunny ears down into the hole of the smallest bead that I'm going to use. And then I'm going to glue that smaller bead onto the bigger bead. And then we're just going to take that and we're going to glue it on top of our little jar, and it makes such a cute little decor piece for the holidays and so simple. This would make a cute gift too. Thanks for watching, you all.